Black Galleon. Lightning shattered the heavens into splinters above the monstrous black waves, which roared and bellowed like a pack of schizophrenic lions, when, through the great mirror half submerged in the abyss, the galleon thrust its prow forth, bursting through the quicksilver sheen of the warp. Its black sails, swollen and torn, fluttered like a host of funeral shrouds, while the deck, lashed by venomous waves, gleamed fitfully in the fractured light. Everything happened with uncanny swiftness. Not 2 heartbeats passed before the galleon's groaning, heavy carcass heaved itself entirely free of the mirror's gleam, before the undulating surface was drawn inward again with a menacing sigh, falling still once more. The reflection endured faintly upon the furious, towering swells until lightning struck again, catching the mirrors shattering into a myriad of silvery pieces, hurling its shards leagues away across the raging void of the sea, splintering into bright, cutting fragments that buried themselves deep into the old wooden flesh of the galleon like a rain of crystal knives. The only soul flung into the demonic fury of the storm, bound by thick ropes to the helm, the galleon's captain stood as the sole witness to the calamity raging astern, grinding his rotten teeth on the damp, funereal stem of his pipe as he steered the ship between the jagged fangs of Cyclone Isle toward Mirroring, the last northern port of Mãgion, whose ancient lighthouse cast icy gleams upon the raging sea and captain's fixed eyes. Waving long shadows upon the dark abyss, the enormous galleon turned heavily between the island's 7 rocky canines, as though sailing into the open jaws of the great world serpent itself, ready to be swallowed by the abyss. The fury of the sea fell behind, and the galleon, its black sails torn to ribbons by shards of light, drifted into the small harbor like some vast moth whose drenched wings had flown their final flight. A heavy oak door swung inward, letting a flickering torchlight spill into a square chamber of gray stone. "Sir," cried a lanky watchman with a horse-like face, his expression that of a man who'd seen a ghost. "An unannounced galleon has just docked in the harbor." From behind a heavy wooden desk, deep in the half-light of the room, the coroner's voice rasped like a bundle of thorns. "Under what flag?" "None, sir. Her black sails are torn to shreds, and there's no sign of life aboard. I've sent men to board her and escort the crew here." "Ugh," grumbled the coroner, teeth grinding. For an instant, the flickering torch lit his face, revealing a great scar that crossed his cheek like a bolt of lightning. 2 guards escorted a massive man, an old sea wolf, whose eyes had seen horrors beyond telling, and whose wooden leg, tapping through the damp stone corridors of the fort, sent a chill down the young men's spines. "He's here, sir," said the same horse-faced guard, stepping aside as the stranger entered through the oak door. The coroner straightened behind his mountain of papers and wreckage. "Well then, Captain, speak. Who are you? Under what flag do you sail? And what brings you through these God-forsaken waters? Lost your way, have you?" The captain looked about the room and through the coroner, as though seeing beyond him. His wide, clouded eyes, pale with some macabre vision, flicked restlessly, and his cadaverous frame trembled like a reed in the dim light of the single torch. "You do not know my name. Agnost Marting. I am the captain of the Black Mare, under the Entarnian flag. We left Runarak 2 cycles past, bound for the amber coast of the Bird Archipelago. I carry a cargo of Andragon furs and Triton hides, meant to be delivered a cycle ago, and a crew of 14 souls. His face hardened suddenly, as if reliving some unspeakable horror. And your crew, Captain Merting, you appear to be alone? Asked the coroner, staring at the man from whose sealskin coat large drops of greenish liquid were dripping. The captain muttered, ignoring the question, as though thoughts far deeper troubled his mind. It matters not. The mirror, it's shattered. Everything's in shards. They're coming. Do you hear me? They're coming. You're all in danger. The coroner straightened, pressing his fists to the desk that creaked beneath his weight. Man, speak plainly. What mirror? What danger? And where is your crew? The 2 guards exchanged terrified glances beneath their wet helmets and swallowed hard. Though his back was turned, the captain seemed to see it muttering something to himself as a line of green saliva slid down his chin. Take him away, ordered the coroner. The man's not right. Where shall we take him, sir? Stammered the horse-faced guard, pale as chalk. He's struck by sea fever, or touched by a thing of the black waters. Chain him up and hang him in the cage. Sir, in the cage. There's a storm outside. He won't last till morning, said the younger guard, his face drawn in dread. It's an order, Sergeant. Carry it out, the coroner snapped, pointing sharply to make his meaning clear. Deep in the bowels of the fort, the guards dragged the prisoner growling, drooling, greenish slime until they reached a low, empty chamber, open to the storm and the ceaseless rain. There hung the cage, a rusted metal basket that allowed neither standing nor sitting, swaying madly in the wind with a shrill, uneven creak. The guards swallowed hard as they fastened the heavy iron cuffs on the captain's wrists, which clanked ominously. He began to laugh, first softly, then in a convulsive, hiccuping frenzy, while a green mucus puddle gathered beneath his sealskin cloak. "Hurry up," barked the horse-faced guard at the younger one, who had dropped the keys in fright, but he hadn't time to utter another word before he saw his comrade's throat lifted by the cadaverous, slick hand of the captain, whose head twisted backward to grin at the other guard before hurling himself upon him. Lightning tore the sky above Zyklon with mad fury, and the waves crashed insanely against the hull of the anchored empty galleon, within whose belly something grotesque and formless oozed a green, fetid slime. Thunder rolled dully along the cliffs and through the high walls of the coastal fort, where, outside, a vacant cage clanged against the sooty facade, its uneven metallic echo tolling into the storm like a dirge.